बृहस्पतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम्। ॐ श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। ॐ वृषभं चर्षणीनां विश्वरूपमदाभ्यं बृहस्पतिं वरेण्यम्। ॐ तद्विष्णोः परमं पदं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिवि चक्षुराततम्। ॐ श्लीं ह्रीं ज्योतिर्ब्राह्माय नमः। And everyone say Hare Rama Krishna 3 times. Om Hare Rama Krishna, Hare Rama Krishna, Hare Rama Krishna. Okay, so we are in chapter 24, verse 79. Seventh Lord in the seventh house, that is where we are. Dare che saptame bhave jato dara sukhanditah dhiro vichakshano dhiman kevalam vata rogavan. Okay. Dare che saptame bhave means is the seventh Lord is in the seventh house. Then jataha, a person born like that. Dara sukhanditaha means he is bestowed with marital happiness, marital bliss. Dhiro vichakshano dhiman. Dhiraha means bold, courageous. Vichakshanaha means good discretion, good judgment, good skill. Dhiman means intelligent. Kevalam Vatarogavan. Kevalam means Kevalam Vatarogavan. He just has some Vataroga, windy diseases. In general healthy, but there may be some diseases of Vata. Diseases related to Vata. Okay, let's park this. If the seventh Lord is in the seventh house, why does he have good marital bliss? Why is he endowed with marital bliss? Yeah, taking the seventh house of marriage as Lagna, Lagna Lord in Lagna. So it is very auspicious. So marriage is very blessed. Dhiraha, why is he bold? From the third house of boldness, he is the sixth Lord in the sixth house. Sorry, fifth Lord, sorry, you are right. From the third house of boldness, he is the fifth Lord in the fifth house. So Purva Punya basically, the Lord of the house of Purva Punya is the same house. So in general, sixth Lord and ninth Lord are auspicious for any house, for that house. So he is showing some Purva Punya relating to bravery. So he is very bold. Vichakshanaha and Dhima. Vichakshanaha and Dhima, intelligent, and also Vichakshana means good judgment, good discretion. Judgment and intelligence. Which house are they seen from? Sixth house. Okay. So why is he intelligent? So the fifth Lord is the third Lord in the third house. Is third Lord in the third house a good placement? For any house in general, third Lord in the third makes the third house strong. And third house is one of the Upadayas. And third house shows initiative relating to that. So basically, what it means is, fifth house shows intelligence, scholarship, knowledge, etc. Now from the fifth house, because the third Lord is in the third house, the initiative of the person goes towards intelligence and use of intelligence, etc. Third house is basically Kamatrikona. So from the intelligence, from the fifth house of intelligence, the Kamatrikona is very strong. Means not only is he intelligent, but he desires scholarship. He desires to apply that intelligence. So basically his intelligence is more, it's basically applied intelligence. he not only has intelligence, but that is why he also uses the word vichakshanaha. Not only Bhima intelligence, but vichakshanaha. He has good judgment. So he uses his intelligence to judge the situations correctly. He has good judgment and discretion.
Maybe because with respect to the Lagna, it is in the 7th house of interaction with people.
Yes. So he will interact a lot with people. That also may make him use his intelligence a lot.
What is good, what is bad?
What is good and what is bad, you see by interacting with people. So he has that judgment, that discretion. And why Vataroga? Vatarogavan. Why does he have windy complaints? We have seen a similar thing in a previous case. There also 7th house was involved. Why?
Yeah, in first actually 7th lord in Lagna, he said that it's Vatara.
Yeah. Now why? 7th lord in 7th. Is he outgoing and talks a lot to people? So basically, he has a lot of that energy basically. He is on the move. 7th lord in Lagna or 7th lord in 7th house, they are basically extroverts, they are talking to people. So typically that is a Vata nature. Always being on the move is basically a Vata related nature. So because his nature is more Vata, there can be Vata related complaints. Moreover, that planet has, if you take the 6th house of disease, 6th house of health problems, he has Argala on it, so he may give some diseases more than in the 1st house. In 7th lord in the 7th house can give some diseases. And with this person being an extrovert and probably a Vata person, it may be a Vata complaint. But this is just a guess. This is an intelligent guess. The bottom line is depends on who the planet is, how Lagna is, how Lagna lord is, who the 6th lord is. Depending on all these things, it may not be Vata. It may be Pitta, it may be Kapha, it may be anything. But without knowing anything else, just based on this, you can say he is an extrovert. He is a person always talking to people, always going around. So he has a lot of all this. He is like air basically, moving from here to there.
With respect to the 7th lord being in Lagna and 7th lord being in 7th house, similar statement has been made.
Right.
And similarly, we also stated that he is an extrovert kind of person.
Right.
What is the difference in the kind of extrovert behavior shown if the 7th lord is in the Lagna?
In terms of interaction with people, you are asking if 7th lord is in 7th house versus 7th lord is in Lagna. What is the difference? What is the difference? What do you think?
I think that the 7th lord in 7th house is more extrovert. That's because by the self, at the soul level, he wants to interact with external people.
So 7th lord shows interacting, 7th house shows interacting with other people. So the 7th lord shows the intelligence applied to interacting with people. So that lord being in Lagna means intelligence applied to interacting with people. That is there in the nature of the person. His nature is to interact with people. He may or may not interact a lot, but he likes interacting. Whereas if 7th lord is in the 7th house itself, 7th lord shows intelligence applied to interacting with people. He is in the house representing interacting with people. So he will interact with people a lot. In the first case, 7th lord in Lagna, the person likes to interact with people, but he may or may not, depending on other things. But in this case, there is a very good chance that he interacts with people. So right, it's more of that extrovert nature is more prominent in the case. The 7th lord is in the 7th house. The degree is higher, definitely. You are right. The next verse is Dare se mrityu bhavasthe jato dara sukhodhitah bharya piroga yuktasya dushila na chanuga. Dare se mrityu bhavasthe. If the 7th lord is in the 8th house, jata hai, a person born like that, dara sukhodhitah. He is deprived of marital happiness. There is no marital happiness. Bharyapi rogayukta asya. Bharyapi, and even wife is rogayukta asya. Asya means his. Rogayukta means disease, having diseases. So wife also has diseases. Wife is not healthy. Dushila na chanuga. Dushila means bad character, low character. Nacha anuga. Anuga means, anu means following. Ga means go. So anuga means basically somebody who follows well, follows instructions well, who is very cooperative, obedient. So here he is saying nacha anuga, and the wife is not obedient to the person. Wife doesn't listen to the person. Okay, if the seventh lord is in the 8th house, right? Why doesn't he have marital happiness? Well, the lord is in the second house of death. The second house of a Marakasthana. The lord of the house is in a Marakasthana from that house. So he may not have lot of happiness. Moreover, it is 8th house from Lagna. So the planet who represents the intelligence as applied to relations, especially marital relations, he is in the 8th house of giving trouble to the person. So he may be troubled on account of his relation.
I have seen some divorce actually.
Possible, sir. More so in the Navamsa than in the Rashi, but it is possible. Bharyapi rogayuktasya. And the wife is also has diseases. Wife of the person has diseases. Why?
If you consider 7th house as Lagna.
Yeah, 7th house as Lagna.
The Lagna lord is in the Marakasthana.
Yeah, Lagna lord is in Marakasthana. Moreover, he is aspecting the 8th house. He is in the 2nd house. He is aspecting the 8th house of long chronic diseases. So she may have some chronic diseases. Moreover, for the native, this planet is in the 8th house of troubles, tensions. So he has some tension on account of his marriage. So it may be that marriage is on the rocks, or it could be that wife has problems. Wife's health is problematic. So both are possible. But from the 7th house itself also, because the 8th house is affected by this planet and he is in Marakasthana, she can be troubled by some chronic diseases. Dushila api najanuga. Dushila, she has bad character. Why does she have bad character? Why does she have bad character? How do you see wife's character? 9 from 7. So 3rd house. So from the 3rd house of wife's character, this planet is 6th lord, but in the 6th house. So the planet representing Purapunya is in the 6th house of struggle and suffering and obstacles. So the Purapunya may be, there may be obstacles. The Purapunya may be blocked. So there may not be much Purapunya relating to wife's character. So wife may not have great character, or she may not have a good sense of dharma. And nacha anuga. She doesn't follow the person. She has a mind of her own. Why? She is disobedient. She gives trouble to the person.
Is he talking about the wife or the native?
Yeah.
Native.
Wife of the native does not follow the person. She gives trouble by disobeying him. Why?
If you consider the 1st house as the Lagna of the native,
Yeah.
and the 8th house as the where the lord of the 7th
Yeah.
stays,
Yeah.
they are in Shastra,
Yeah.
and which means that basically
So basically from the Lagna, because the 7th lord, the planet who represents the intelligence as applied to relations, is in the 8th house of tension, anxiety. The person has anxiety and tension on account of relationship, and one of the possibilities is wife does not listen to him and he is always having to fight with the wife. Moreover, 8th house is the house of anger, fights. 6th house is the house of quarrel, but also 8th house is the house of short temper and anger. So because the lord of the 7th house is in the 8th house, the person there may be proneness to short temper on account of relations. So when the person interacts with other people, he tends to become angry on account of it. That happens when other person doesn't listen to you. So there is a decent chance that the wife does not listen to the person. The next verse is दारे से धर्म भावस्थे नाना स्त्रीभिः समागमः छायाहृतमना जातो बह्वारम्भकरो नरः दारे से धर्म भावस्थे. If the seventh lord is in the ninth house, nana stribhi samagamaha, he has union with all kinds of women, many women. Basically, he has a relationship with many women. He has a loose character. Jayahruta manajataha. Jayahruta manajataha. Jayahruta manajataha means his the person, the born person. Jataha means the born person. Jaya ahruta mana. Jaya means wife, spouse. Ahruta means taken away by, stolen away or taken away by. Mana means manas. So his mind is taken by his wife, which means he is actually he has good interest. Even though he is going with lot of women, he has very good interest in his wife, and he is good to her basically. So it's not like he ignores his wife. He actually takes good care of his wife. And is Bahvarambhakaraha Naraha. Naraha means such person. Bahvarambhakaraha. Bahu arambhakaraha. Bahu means many. Arambha means start. Karaha means doer. He does many beginnings, which means what? He lays many foundations. Which means he doesn't finish everything. Basically, he is somebody who starts many tasks. Somebody who is a beginner, who starts many tasks but not really a finisher. He doesn't finish everything. Okay? Okay, let's part each of them. Now, if the seventh lord is in the ninth house, he goes with many women. Why? Why? Yeah, he is in an upachaya. So, as far as relationships are concerned, because the planet is in the third house of initiative, he puts lot of initiative into relations with people. Not necessarily with women, but in general. But one of the possibilities is pursuing many women. He basically talks nicely and he shows initiative and makes friends. He makes a lot of interactions with people. He interacts a lot with people. So there is a good chance that he has many women friends. And other friends too, not just women friends. Jaya Hritamana. Now still he is attached to his wife. Why is he attached to his wife? Yeah, the planet is well placed basically. The planet which shows relation with wife, not just relation with everybody, but relation with wife. The planet is well placed in a trine. So basically his relation with wife is not really bad. There may be another combination where he has many relations, but with wife the relation is spoiled. But here that's not the case. The seventh lord is very strong. So given that he may or may not have many girlfriends, but his relation with wife is not really bad. Not really sold.
It being in house of 9th is protected also.
It's basically a trine. From the lagna, taking the lagna, it's a trine. So, house of protection, house of dharma. So, his relation is fine.
Actually, we said lagna, seventh lord in second can have a lot of many wives.
Right. Now, the next one is Bahvarambhakaraha Naraha. He makes many stars. He may or may not finish, but he makes lot of stars. Why? Yeah. So from the third house of initiative, a trine lord is in a quadrant. The fifth lord is in seventh. Right? So fifth lord shows Purvapunya. So Purvapunya relating to initiative, and seventh house is interactions relating to initiative. So the planet who represents Purvapunya of initiative is in the house of interactions relating to initiative. So he has lot of initiative, he talks to people, he gets things, he basically, as far as initiative is concerned, there is plenty of it. So the person has heavy initiative, so he at least begins lot of things. But from the 10th house of actual karma, getting things done, this planet is not really well placed. He is in the 12th house of loss. So he may or may not actually get things accomplished. But he has very excellent initiative. The next verse is Dareshe karma bhavasthe nasya jaya vachanuga swayam dharma rato jatah dhanaputradi samyutah. Dareshe karma bhavasthe. If the 7th lord is in the 10th house, nasya jaya vachanuga, then his wife is not obedient to him. His wife is not under his control. His wife is out of control. He has an out of control wife. Swayam dharma rato jataha. But he is very dharmic, very pious, very religious, the person. Dhanaputra adi samyutaha. He has wealth, sons, etc. Okay, let us see each of them. If the 7th lord is in the 10th house, why is wife out of control? Why is wife out of control? Yeah, from the 7th house of wife, Lagna Lord is in the 4th house. Okay? Yeah? Well, he aspects the 10th house also. Lagna Lord is in the 4th house, he aspects the 10th house. So she has because the Lagna Lord is in the 4th house of Sukha, pursuing happiness, so basically she pursues her happiness. That is point number 1. Lagna Lord in the 4th house, she pursues her happiness. Right? And secondly, he aspects the 10th house. So because he aspects the 10th house, she may be career minded. So because of that, because she cares about her happiness and she is career minded, there is a good chance that she neglects the husband or neglects his word at least, if not the person himself.
With respect to the 3rd house.
Yeah. 3rd house means? Okay.
9th from 7th.
Yeah.
Is the 6th lord in
5th lord of Korpunja is in the 8th house. So there may be some question on the character also, right? Even though that is not mentioned here. Because being out of control of the person does not necessarily mean bad character, but that is also a possibility. Just like in the other case we saw where from the 3rd house, the 5th lord is in the 6th house. Now he is in the 8th house. So for that house he gave that result. Now he hasn't. But that is a possible result. That is very good. Then, Swayam dharma rato jataha. The person is very dharmic. He is very interested in dharma. Why is he dharmic? Why is he pious? For me, Argala on the 9th house. A quadrant lord has Argala on a trine. Right? Moreover, from the 9th house of dharma as Lagna, he is 11th lord in the 2nd house. He has Argala and also he is 11th lord of fulfilling it. From the dharma of the person, he is the 11th lord of fulfilling his dharma. And he is in the 2nd house of resource of dharma and having the Argala and the resource Argala and the dharma. So, the person is likely to be very dharmic. Dhana putra adi samyutaha. Putra will come later, but dhana, why does he have wealth?
From 2nd house, even 6th lord.
For me?
From the 2nd house.
Yeah, from the 2nd house of money.
6th lord of.
6th of, earlier we said, several times we said, for the 2nd house of money, upayas are important. 3rd, 6th, 10th and 11th. Money is something you accumulate. It's not something that you get once and then you are done. No, you accumulate money. That is the nature of money. So upayas are even more relevant for the house of money. So from the 2nd house, this is 6th lord and upaya lord. in the house of Bhagya. So as far as accumulation of wealth is concerned, this causes fortune of his bank balance. It causes fortune to his bank balance, 9th house to 2nd house. So he is very wealthy. Now why Putradi Samyuta? Why is he similarly? Why does he have lot of children? They are saying he has an abundance of wealth and children. Abundance of wealth makes sense. Children, from the 5th house of children. Yes.
Opposite way, no children.
Pardon me?
I thought the result would be opposite.
Why? Why did you think? Good, go ahead. That is also a possibility, but why?
Fifth house,
From the 5th house?
he is a third lord in sixth house.
If the third lord is in 6th house, is it good or bad? From any house, forget 5th house. From Lagna, let's say. Third lord in 6th, is it a good combination or bad combination? It's Viprit Raj Yoga. There may be some trouble in the beginning, but eventually it gives Raj Yoga. One Upchaya lord is in another Upchaya. So it shows accumulation of things. So third lord in 6th house is a good combination. Right? It's not like 5th lord is in 6th, or third lord is in 7th, or third lord is in 10th or something. This is third lord in 6th, so that is good. So from the 5th house of children, because the third lord is in the 6th house, there is a Viparita Raj Yoga relating to children. So there may be some trouble begetting children in the beginning, but once there are children, things are smooth. In a sense, there are he ends up having lot of children.
With the intelligence of the
Yeah. With respect to intelligence also, you can say the same thing.
but there it's not children they grow.
I know, but even intelligence, even scholarship, 5th house is scholarship. That also grows. Yeah, it grows.
I know.
As you learn more, your scholarship grows. And even in your judgment, your discretion, all those things grow. That is what is shown by the 5th house. It also shows your mantra shakti, that also grows. Everything basically grows. Everything shown by the 5th house. So anyway, whether it grows or not, still, third lord in the 6th is Viparita Raj Yoga. So from the 5th house, there is Viparita Raj Yoga. So the person may be intelligent also. The next verse. Dare se labha bhavasthe darairartha samagamaha putradi sukham alpam cha janah kanya prajo bhavet. Dare se labha bhavasthe. If the 7th lord is in the 11th house, darairartha samagamaha. With marriage, there is money comes to him after marriage. He becomes wealthy after marriage. Putradi sukham alpam cha. Children, etc., happiness from children, etc., is alpam, means very limited, less, not much. Janaha, person, kanya prajo bhavet. He has daughters. The person will have daughters. Okay, let us pass. If the 7th lord is in the 11th house, why does marriage bring money? Yeah, 2nd house of money, no 11th house of gain. So 7th lord of marriage is in the 11th house of profits. So that can show lot of profits coming to the person after marriage.
In general, 7th respect to marriage, not only with respect
Not only the yes, go ahead.
with respect to 7th house, which means external interaction, and 11th house of friends,
Yeah.
11th house of gains.
Yeah.
Does this mean that his business side is also flourishing?
It basically shows a businessman. 7th lord and 11th is more conducive to a businessman. Another thing is, now instead of taking 7th house as Lagna, let us take the 11th house as Lagna to see the profits of the person. Taking 11th house as Lagna, who's in Lagna now? 9th lord. 7th lord in 11th means 9th lord is in Lagna from the 11th house. 9th lord in Lagna, is it good or bad? Excellent. The lord of the house of fortune is in Lagna. So Lagna flourishes. So in general he is a very profitable person. And especially marriage can bring profits. Putradi sukham alpam. There is not much happiness from children. From the 5th house, how are things now? Third lord is in 7th. So lord of one bad house is in a Kendra. Earlier third lord was in 6th house. So he said excellent. But third lord is in 7th. Now he is saying not so good. That makes sense. A lord of a bad house is in a quadrant. So he is not really well placed. Second thing, a Kamatrikona lord goes into another Kamatrikona. A Kamatrikona lord of initiative, third lord, is in the seventh house of desire. So the person has lot of initiatives and desires relating to children. There is a lot of desire, kama related to children, which means he has to show a lot of initiative in the matter of children, either in getting children or in having relation with children. So there is some problem with children. What it means is, if you have to show a lot of initiative, take a lot of initiative and interact a lot relating to your children, there is some problem there. So that is another angle. Kanja prajo bhavet. He says he will have daughters. Why does he? Why can he? I mean, what is the logic? What can be the logic? What can be the logic? Yeah.
When we decide whether male or female based on the function.
Yeah. Right. So we can't really say based on the house occupied by seventh lord, but what could be the logic? Can there be some logic behind it?
Because from 4th house and 8th house, generally people daughters more for his.
That is a good angle. Basically, that is a good angle. But see, the thing is, I am not 100% sure how you can basically say the gender of children based on the houses occupied. But one angle, like he mentioned, is another thing I can say is fifth house is seen for children in general, but some people actually take the ninth house to show daughters. But again, I don't have a view on that. I know that some people actually advocate taking the ninth house for daughters, in which case here from the ninth house, the 11th lord is in the third house. So that can show some gain of daughters. That is one angle basically. The other thing is, like you said, because the third lord is in the seventh house, related to children, the person has to show lot of initiative, lot of interactions, etc. Especially if one has a daughter, to get the daughter married, the person has to meet a lot of people, etc. So it may for me.
More worry,
More than worrying is basically interacting with people, more aggression basically, interacting with people. That makes more sense if it is a daughter. But again, these days, compared to your daughter, if you have a son, especially if he is in US, you have to struggle more to get the child married. So anyway, so there may be some more logic, but I am not aware of it. But like I said, ninth house may be taken as the house that shows daughters. The last one. Dare se jage jatah daridrah krupanopi va pralya pivjaya silasya vastra jivi naro bhavet. Okay. Dare se jage jatah. If the seventh lord is in the 12th house, a person born like that, daridraha means he is in poverty. He is poor. Krupanaha api. Krupanaha means hello? Hello? Namaskar. I am in the middle of a class. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I don't know. I'll check with her. Okay? Okay, namaskar. Okay. Dare se vege jatah daridraha. He is in poverty. He is poor. Krupanaha. Krupanaha means yes, miserly. Miserly. He is a poor person and also he is miserly. Bharya api vyasilasya. Wife is also wife is spendthrift. Wife spends money a lot. Spends a lot of money. Vastrajivi naro bhavet. Vastrajivi means vastra ajivi. His livelihood is from clothes. He basically sells clothes or something. Yeah, clothes merchant. Okay. Now let's talk these of them. If the seventh lord is in the 12th house, why is he poor? Why is he poor? Seventh lord shows interactions with other people, and the lord planet who shows interactions with other people is in the house of love. So yes. So this is not really somebody who is totally poor, who has nothing. Seventh shows lot of interactions, but the thing is, the seventh lord of business is in the 12th house of losses. So he may be somebody who experiences big losses in business. So that's why poor basically. He may be somebody who has money, but he uses it in a lot of business and then he loses it. Like the famous person who is in news right now. I mean, he's not poor yet, but somebody who basically takes gambles in business and then loses money. Then, Krupanaha means he is miserly. Why is he miserly? By the way, actually, on the previous thing, I just want to say one more thing. If you take the second house as Lagna, actually, this is 6th lord in 11th house. Is it actually bad for accumulating wealth? Not really. From the second house, the 6th lord is in 11th house. So that is actually one Upadaya lord in another Upadaya. So he can actually accumulate lot of wealth also. This person can accumulate lot of wealth. So that is also a possibility. Though Parasara does not mention it. But what he is saying is, despite that, because the 7th lord of business is in the 12th house, there may be big losses in business. That will be difficult to recover from. So that is also possible. That is what he is saying. But this is not a typical combination of somebody who was born poor and lives poor and who has very modest needs. Probably not that. Somebody who actually made lot of money and also lost it. Krupanaha means miserly. Why is he miserly? Yeah. From the 12th house of giving, 8th lord is in Lagna. So he's not really comfortable giving. He's not happy giving. The 8th lord is in Lagna. That is a combination of ill health. That is a combination of being very weak. So when it comes to giving, the person is very weak. He is like a very frail person from the point of view of giving. The giver inside him is a frail, unhealthy person. So basically, he's a miser. And of course, from the second house of accumulating money, wealth, accumulated money. He is an Upadaya lord in another Upadaya. So he is somebody who wants to accumulate money. So he may not like to, part with some money. He wants more money. He wants to increase his money, not decrease it. Bharya api jayashilasya. Wife is a spendthrift. Why? Well, 7th lord who shows wife is in the 12th house of losses. So wife causes some expenditure for the person. That is one angle. Another angle is from the 7th house as Lagna. The Lagna lord who shows the basic intelligence of the person is in the 6th house, aspecting the 12th house. So wife is interested in spending. So wife is a spendthrift. Vastrajivi naro bhavet. He sells clothes, etc. Very different. I'm not at all sure how you can say you will sell this or that from the house occupied. But the thing is, all you can say is from the 7th house of business, the Lagna lord is in 6th house. So what you are selling is basically 6th house related things, right? Now, this is not like 9th house or some good house. This is a dusthana. So what you are selling is small things, not big things, not big articles. If the 7th lord is in 6th house from 7th house, similarly, let's say 7th lord is in 8th house. He is in the 2nd house from 7th house. So you may be selling food, you may be selling 2nd house related articles. Like that you can see. So here, because he is in the 6th house, you are selling simple things. So clothes is one possibility, but not really you are selling big palaces or something. You are selling small things, $20 t-shirt, $10 shirt, things like that. So it is a possibility, but how you can actually arrive at clothes itself, I am not sure. So with that, we will end Parasara for today. I will restart the recording. Okay, can you give me the data? March 28, 1980, 6:45 p.m. 6:45 p.m. Boston. Yeah. (6:45 p.m. March 28, 1980, Boston, Mass. AM? Not PM. Okay, fine. Okay, that should be AM then. Aries Lagna, 12 degree 45 minutes Aries. How should I save it? Arun. We will figure out, one second. Okay. Here is maybe in the border. See, he is at 0 degree 3 minutes in Taurus. So if I use Lahiri Ainamsa, he will be in Aries. He is at 29 degree 59 minutes 58.78. So he is like less than 2 seconds, 1.3 seconds away from the border with the Lahiri Ainamsa. So if the Ainamsa is a little different, he is gone. So with the Jagannath Ainamsa, okay, okay. Yeah, with the Jagannath Ainamsa, Venus sign has changed. He is in Taurus instead of Aries. This is a border case. All other planets are fine. Only Venus has changed. Okay, anyway, we will take this. This is the Ainamsa that I mentioned earlier, where the plane basically where you project the planetary positions, because planets are not in the same plane. They are around the same plane, but they are all slightly off that plane, right? So their positions have to be projected on a particular two-dimensional plane, and then you say on that plane you say that is 0 degree, this is 30 degree, this is 60 degree, and so on. Now the plane, what people normally do is they take the plane containing Sun and Earth at this time. So if you are looking at planetary positions today, you basically take the plane containing Sun and Earth, the plane containing Sun and the plane where Earth is, and the vector of movement of Earth around Sun. So if you take that vector in this point, the plane is fixed. So you take that plane. But if you take tomorrow or 1 year later, the plane may be slightly off. So you take that plane on that day. So every day you take a different plane to project the planetary coordinates, and this plane keeps wobbling within, it's a small, I think 5 degree or so is the range. So it just keeps wobbling around a mean plane. And the mean plane is the plane in which Sun goes in an elliptical orbit around what we call as Vishnadhi. So Sun's motion around the Vishnadhi, the whole solar system rotates around this point, fixed point. That plane is basically a fixed plane. There may be some motion in that also, but that will be even more subtle. But that plane is, for all practical purposes, based on what we can measure now, it's a fixed plane. Within this fixed plane, around the plane in which Earth rotates around Sun, that plane basically is wobbling around this plane. This is the mean plane. It is wobbling. Sometimes it is 1 degree more, sometimes it is 1 degree less, and so on. So in this Jagannath Ainamsa, what we are doing is we are fixing that plane as the plane in which you make the measurements. You don't bother about the current Sun-Earth plane, current ecliptic plane. So when you do that, it's basically a fixed, the reference system is fixed. Not only that, but the beginning of the zodiac is found in the Lahiri also. It is found based on Chitra star being at 180 degrees, right? But not every day, on a particular day. After that, Chitra is wobbling around 180 degrees. It's not exactly at 180 degrees. If you take the regular Lahiri Ainamsa. Whereas with this Jagannath Ainamsa, on this particular plane, this fixed plane, if you project Chitra star, that projection of Chitra star is always at exactly 180 degrees. Like that, you basically change the beginning of the zodiac. You fix the beginning of zodiac so that Chitra is exactly at 180 degrees on every day, at every time. So like that, this Ainamsa is fixed. So basically, now there is nothing arbitrary. There is no, in many Ainamsas there is a coincidence date. People basically take a particular date and they say on that date tropical and sidereal coincided. So here there is no concept of coincidence date. This is based on the assumption that Chitra is at 180 degrees and the plane is the Vishnadhi, the plane in which solar system rotates around Vishnadhi. For me? Okay, I'll say. I was actually thinking of reverting to your previous preferences, but I'll say it. Okay, so I strongly recommend this Ainamsa. It makes a difference in Tithi Pravesh. Other things it doesn't. But in cases like this, see here Venus Rati has changed. So Narayan Dasha will change. So many things will change. The Narayan Dasha will change. So many things may change. So, but this kind of charts are rare. In 99.9999% of the charts, this change of Ainamsa hardly has any impact, except in Tithi Pravesh. The Navamsa of Tithi Pravesh and Dashamsa of Tithi Pravesh. Okay, let us go back now. This is unfortunately available only in 3.2. So you have to download 3.2 for it. It was available for a while now.
Yeah. I know the beta one I had it, but didn't upgrade.
If you have beta 1, update is just very quick. So just go and update. It's less than 1 MB. Just go and update. Okay. So what is the question about this?
Question is that
So we saw this chart sometime back, and they got married recently, 6 months back.
last year.
Okay, last year they got married.
19.
Oh, recently.
Yeah, then now the girl is split up. So
Okay, so this is the chart of boy. Okay.
we have a girl. We had a girl also chart,
Okay.
but we only analyzed it.
We only analyze the boy chart. Okay. So the thing is, we saw this chart before, and this boy got married in the around the Thanksgiving time, and his marriage is in doldrums right now because the girl wants divorce. Does she have any reason?
I mean, I don't know the boy. I only know the mother.
Okay.
So she's.
What is the
She's from Singapore. They both were working in New York.
Uh-huh.
She lost after she came back from the wedding. She didn't start working yet. And they both had a financial side.
Okay.
Investment banking.
Okay.
The reason we done now is one of the reason I heard was that she didn't want to live in New York. She wanted to go back to Singapore.
Okay. So this girl is from Singapore, and she was living in New York at the time of marriage, and the boy also was living in New York, and both of them were working in the financial services business, financial market area, and because of this economy downturn, the girl does not want to live in New York and she wants to go back to Singapore, so she wants divorce. So what is the question?
But is it really going to happen? Nothing happened yet.
Nothing happened, but she is seriously interested in divorce.
Right. They were stayed here. She just left only last month.
Okay. She went back to Singapore now. Okay.
Her family.
Okay, she went back to her family in Singapore, and the question is this marriage really for me?
The boy is confused and he doesn't know what to do. There's not enough reason for going back. So he's worried and his parents are worried about
Okay.
what happened or is there any chance of reconciling them.
Okay, so the question is there reconciliation possible? And
Anything she can do, her mother was asking anything we can do.
okay, any remedies they can do? Is there any way to salvage this marriage? Is the question. Okay, let us see what is going on. Now,
Then seventh Lord in second.
yeah.
Will not arise.
So his point is 7th Lord is in second house, and in the last class we learned that 7th Lord in second house gives lot of wives. So here he pointed out that second Lord is in 7th, so that shows lot of wives. Well, that could be the case, but let's not jump to conclusion. Based on one planet.
One thing I wanted to mention,
Yeah.
see, the last time when we analyzed this chart, we said that this person's first marriage will not survive.
Okay.
He lived with a person, he didn't marry her, he lived with a person for 3 years.
Uh-huh.
That is broken up, then we the second one.
Okay.
Those are the details we did.
Okay. So apparently when we saw this chart earlier, we apparently said that the first marriage will not survive. It will not be long lived. And apparently he lived with a girl for 3 years. So we apparently took that to be the first marriage, and this marriage which happened last year to be the second marriage. That is what we did. Okay, that's fine. Why did we actually say that the first marriage won't survive? Not because the 7th Lord is in second house, because when we saw then the seventh lord was actually in Lagna because we were taking Lahiri Ananta. But so that's not the reason. There is another reason. Why did we say the first marriage will not survive? From the UL, which is in Capricorn. From the UL, the second house has Mercury and Ketu, and eighth house has 5 planets: Mars, Moon, Saturn, Rahu, Jupiter. So the second and eighth axis on the Upada has 7 planets. 7 planets. So especially the eighth house of death has 5 planets. So one of them being the seventh lord. Seventh lord in eighth is a terrible combination for death. Another one is second lord Rahu. Of course Saturn is also second lord, but he is also Lagna lord. So he is not that bad. But Rahu is the second lord. And of course third lord Jupiter is also there. So second lord, third lord, seventh lord, and second lord, third lord and seventh lord, they are all together in the eighth house. So things are not, and also Bhadaka lord is there from the Upada. The other Bhadaka lord is in the second house, other Margasthana with Mercury. So overall, the first marriage is very problematic. It will not survive at all. The only question is, the 3-year relationship that he had, does it qualify as first marriage? So they went out together for 3 years. They lived together for 3 years. So in my judgment, that is the first marriage then. So what happened now is the second marriage. Now let us see how is the second marriage. And by the way, let's see the second marriage coming at this time. Does it make sense? Let us see all those things. What is the dasha running? You guys can see it, right? Moon dasha. Moon dasha started in 2007 end. So this marriage happened in Moon Mars. Right? Moon Mars gave this marriage. If Moon Mars gave marriage, is it likely that this is the first marriage or second marriage? That is one thing that we want to see. Now let's see Narayana dasha also. First let's see Narayana dasha of Rashi. Yes. Oh. 7? 2007 when? So sorry. So it was actually 2007 Thanksgiving. It was not 2008. So Vijay got confused. He clarified that. Okay. Because he said that, yeah. So yeah, 2008 November is too recent basically. So 2007 November is when the marriage happened, and then it broke. Let us see. Now based on Narayana dasha of Rashi, this happened in Capricorn dasha. The Antardasha at the time was Aries Antardasha. The Antardasha was Aries Antardasha. Capricorn Mahadasha, Aries Antardasha. The rule is Antardasha should aspect the Upada for marriage to come. Here Aries is aspecting, it's not aspecting Capricorn, but it's aspecting Leo. So if you are talking about second marriage, this Antardasha can give the second marriage. And if you look at the Narayana dasha of Navamsha, how is the Narayana dasha of Navamsha? This happened in Sagittarius. Okay. This happened in Sagittarius dasha. Antardasha was Aquarius. Sagittarius, Aquarius. Right? Now, if you use the 3 parts rule, Sagittarius will give the results in last 1/3. The Lord Jupiter will give in the first 1/3. Lord Jupiter will give in the first 1/3. So this marriage happened in Jupiter period. Right? Now here Jupiter, will he give the first marriage or second marriage? Can we tell? From the 7th house of marriage, he is basically the 3rd lord and 12th lord. He is in the 6th house. Whereas if you take the second marriage, he is shown by the 2nd house. How much leeway do we have? Okay, let's accept this time. So if you take the second house of second marriage, Jupiter is the 5th lord aspecting the 5th. So actually, quite honestly, both can be justified. The thing is, we don't have crystal clear logic to say, okay, this must be it. Because from the 7th house also, he is a Dusthana Lord, but in Dusthana. 3rd Lord in 6th can give marriage. He is basically, he shows Viparita Rajoga from the 7th house. But still, being the 6th Lord, it is difficult that he would give marriage. If the marriage comes, he will basically make the marriage grow, make the relationship grow, but unlikely. So, second marriage makes more sense, but both marriages can be justified. Let us look at the regular Vimshotri Dasha. Vimshotri is the Dasha, right? Applicable Dasha, right? So, Moon Dasha gave marriage. As soon as Moon Dasha came, the marriage happened. But this could also be, because we don't know exactly when it happened. He said Thanksgiving time.
Yeah, I mean,
He is not sure. This could happen at the end of Sandasha also. If it's the end of Sandasha, if it's Moon Dasha, both marriages are justified. He is Lagna Lord. He can in general give marriages. First or second or third doesn't matter. So either way is fine. But if it is Sandasha, end of Sandasha, then that is the second Lord. He can give the second marriage.
it doesn't tell me what he went through on his own.
Mm-hmm.
It could be something like that.
Okay.
I don't know whether you wanted to.
See, the thing is, first of all, the Narayan Dasha calculation compared to last time would have changed because Venus sign has changed in both Rashi and Navamsha. Do you have the girls chart? You don't.
January 9th.
For me, 1 second, let me reopen this. Let me finish this scheme of thought and then we'll see. Just looking at the Tithi Pravesh chart for the year. From the Tithi Pravesh chart, probably marriage happened in Moon Mars Dashas. Mars Dasha is the second Lord. Okay, both could be justified. So let me ignore. Okay, let's look at the girls chart. Tell me.
January 9th,
January 9,
1981,
1981,
16:37,
3:37 p.m. January 9, 1981, 3:37 p.m. Singapore. Singapore city, Singapore country. Where is it? Okay. Fine. Taurus Lagna. Okay. So she has Taurus Lagna. This is her chart. Can we save it? What is the, how should I save it? Suriniya. Suraina. 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 Okay. So she has Taurus Lagna, Lagna Lord, Venus with Sun. And she has Saturn and Jupiter combination in the 5th house. She has Moon in the 10th house. And she has Mirti Mars Ketu in the 9th house. I just wanted to get a general sense of her chart and then see which one could be seen in the Navamsha. Let's go back to Arun's chart. Right? Now, what does she have? 7th Lord in? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. But attached to wife. Okay. Now if you go back to Arun's chart, in Arun's chart, in the Navamsha, the 7th, if you take the 7th house, if you take the 7th house, 7th Lord is Saturn, right? 7th Lord is Saturn. But in her, of course, Venus is in Lagna, but the 7th Lord is Saturn. So there is a strong Saturn influence. On the other hand, if I take the second spouse is shown in the Navamsha by Leo, right? So if I take Leo on the second marriage, the Lord of Leo is basically Sun, and he is in Scorpio with Ketu, and Venus is affecting him. Mars is also affecting him. So there is a good influence of Moon, Mars, Venus, etc. But there is a strong Sun influence. Sun is in a Martian sign. Similarly, there Venus is the Lagna Lord in her chart, Surayana's chart, and Venus is with Sun in a fiery sign. So there is a strong solar influence present on both the charts. So my suspicion is that this is the second wife. So the 3 years that he spent with another woman, that counts as a first marriage. So the first marriage has passed, but now even the second marriage seems to be problematic. Let us see how is the time for the second marriage, right? Now how is the time right now?
Well, I mean, they have I confirmed with the lady.
Yeah.
It's the Thanksgiving time is 2007 is the engagement, that is 24th of November.
Yeah.
And 25th of April of 2008 is the wedding.
25th of April 2008.
Sorry.
Excellent. That's good. That's good.
I just want to do something is not driving my head.
Okay. Because I was looking at the 2007 chart to see indication of either first marriage or second marriage. Nothing, neither to see whether first marriage happened or second marriage in the time frame, Thanksgiving time frame, neither makes sense. So I just skipped the Tithi Pravesh. Now we can go back to Tithi Pravesh. So we should actually look at the 2008 Tithi Pravesh chart. April 25th, 2008 April 25th. So Mercury is the Hora Lord. He is in the 7th house. Okay. Let's go to Tithi Ashtotri Dasha. So Jupiter Dasha gave marriage. That's interesting. And how much leeway do we have? We have plenty of leeway. So the marriage was given by the Jupiter Dasha. So Jupiter Dasha gave the marriage. Jupiter Vatanta Dasha April 25. So Jupiter Mercury gave the marriage. So Jupiter is the 7th Lord in the 3rd house, aspecting the 7th house. And Mercury is the Lagna Lord in a trine. So the bottom line is the 7th Lord Dasha gave the marriage, who is in the 3rd house. So this seems to suggest that during that time there is a good chance that the first marriage will happen. Unfortunately, even though we judged that the relationship he had for 3 years would count as the first marriage from the Tithi Pravesh chart, because in the Vishwati Dasha when we saw, we weren't 100% sure. So all the analysis that we have done until now is not 100% sure. For example, the influence of Sun that I mentioned on the Lagna, even if you take Capricorn, Sun is aspecting the Lagna. In the chart of the girl, the Lagna is Taurus, the Lagna Lord Venus is the Sun, right? So if you take Arun's chart, I said that second Lord is Sun, and in the girl's chart, because Lagna Lord is Sun, with a strong Sun, Sun's influence is dominating. But you can also say Lagna Lord is Venus, and here if you take the 7th house, Venus is in Lagna. So if you ignore Saturn, the Lord, if you just take the house, Venus is there. So the bottom line is this. Both could be justified. And based on the Vimshottari also, we weren't 100% sure. And based on the Narayana Dasha also, we are not 100% sure. But Tithi Pravesh does not seem to suggest the possibility of second marriage at that time. It is showing the first marriage. Because second marriage is shown by Libra. And Jupiter Dasha is very unlikely to give the second marriage, because Jupiter is the 6th Lord and 3rd Lord in the 2nd house. 3rd Lord in 2nd does not give marriage, he actually breaks it. So he does not really, his Dasha cannot give the second marriage. Moreover, the leeway is plenty. We have 5 minutes forward and 11 minutes backward. So we have plenty of leeway. So very unlikely that the time is wrong. So what happened at that time is likely to be the first marriage. And what was the Dasha based on natal chart? Let's go back to the natal Vimshottari Dasha. Chandra Dasha. Like we said earlier, that's useless. That's not really useful to us, because Moon is Lagna Lord. So whether it's first marriage or second marriage, he can actually give marriage. So now the thing is, now we have a disillusionment. The thing is, we said that somebody lived with somebody for 3 years, so that counts as first marriage. But the thing is, so this shows that it may not. Is it possible that somebody lives in the same house with somebody for 3 years, but still it doesn't count as a marriage? Is it possible? The thing is, the definition of marriage, it depends on what he was thinking, what was in his mind, which we can't really know for sure. What is marriage? It's basically commitment to a person. You basically think of spending your whole life with that person. So with that idea, you basically come together. So if you, for example, if you say, I'll marry this person so that I'll get my green card, I'll apply for my green card, marrying this US citizen, and then once the US green card comes, I'll basically divorce. If that is the understanding, if you have a contract like that, either formally or informally, and if somebody marries a person like that, even if they live 3 years or 4 years until green card comes, and if they are separate, that may or may not qualify as a marriage, because it may not be a life commitment, right? So the thing is, the bottom line is, the definition of marriage is living for a reasonable amount of time. Some people say 1 year, but that could again be questionable, because even if you don't live together for 1 year, still if the commitment was so full, even if you live together for a month and the person died, it may be shown as a marriage in a chart. So the bottom line is, it's a commitment. If you really think of the person as your wife or husband, and that you are going to share the life together, making compromises together. So the thing is, unfortunately, on looking at the time when the marriage happened, etc., it seems to me like this does not count as the second marriage, but as the first marriage itself. In which case, the chance of success is very low. Yes, absolutely. It is very difficult to judge. The only way we have is look at the events and see. Look at the event and see at that time, in that dasha, in that Vimshotri dasha, in that Narayan dasha, in that so-and-so dasha, is there a chance of first marriage or second marriage? Sometimes it is very clear. See, Vimshotri dasha, like I said, it can show up, but the thing is, again, like we saw, it's not crystal clear. See, she has Venusian Lagna, and Venus is with Sun. And here, if you take the first marriage, Venus is in the Lagna, and Sun is aspecting it. If you take the second marriage, Sun is the Lagna Lord, and Venus aspects the Lagna. So both the ways there is a match. And if you take the Narayan Dasha, right, we saw that Jupiter is giving the result, right? Sagittarius Dasha was giving the result, and Jupiter's part was running. So if you take the second house, Jupiter is the fifth lord aspecting fifth house, he can give marriage. If you take the first marriage itself, Jupiter is third and 12th lord in the sixth house. That is excellent. He is giving Yutis Rajoga. So again, he can give marriage. So we can't tell for sure. Sometimes you can tell for sure. You can say this makes a lot of sense, this makes no sense. But here both are making sense. But using the Tithi of 2008, both are not making sense. Only one of them is making sense. The other one is zero sense. So my conclusion is that this is the first marriage. And now there is some tension now, right? When did this tension start, do you know?
I mean, I don't have a very clear thing, but Mother says right after 2 months after the marriage.
Oh, 2 months after the marriage, I see. See, Venus is problematic, definitely, because if you take the first marriage of 7th house, Venus is in the 6th house. He is in the house of losses from it. He is the 8th lord, he is the 3rd lord from it. He is in the 12th house, so he is in Mankaraka Sthana basically. So Venus Dasha is problematic. Sun Dasha, if you take the Sun, he is basically in Mankaraka Sthana again, just like Venus. He is in the 12th house of loss. So again, this is not good. But I would really think Moon Dasha is a catastrophic Dasha, because Moon is in Mankaraka Sthana and he is eclipsed by Ketu. Again, actually 3 planets in Mankaraka Sthana in this year. Actually Jupiter also. 4 planets in Mankaraka Sthana in the Navamsha in this year's chart. Yeah, it is past. But what I am saying is, my suspicion is, even though the problems may have started in June end or July itself.
2 months after.
Yeah, July, August is this Dasha. Venus Dasha is problematic. But Moon is the really bad Dasha. because from the second house, seventh house of marriage, he is in Marakasthana. Moon is in Marakasthana. Yeah, October, November seem like bad months. Of course, March, he is not any better. He is again Maraka. He is the third and eighth lord from Lagna. Even from the seventh house, he is basically Maraka. Two Marakas together actually. Second lord and seventh lord are together, Mercury and Mars, from the marriage. And from Lagna itself, he is the eighth lord afflicting Lagna lord. So, Moon and Mars are the real, because eighth house has to be involved for an end of marriage. Of course, this is not really end in the sense there is a divorce, but the wife left basically. Wife said enough, I want divorce, and then she left. So, eighth house has to be involved. So, Moon and Mars are the ones. So, September 29 to December 20 are the problematic dashas. Now, this is basically almost over. This is not really over. This is almost over. What is the dasha running right now? Mercury. Mercury is Lagna lord. So, he wants to rescue the marriage. He doesn't want the marriage to break. Even though he is restricted by eighth lord, he is still Lagna lord in a trine. So, his dasha shows some promise. His dasha basically there is thinking of how can I make it work. So, this is actually a good dasha for thinking of ways to make it work. But from the long term perspective, the Upada is heavily damaged. But let us also look at dashas. Let us not just look at statically the Upada and then draw a conclusion. Let us also look at the dasha that is running and see if there is a chance of patch up. And let us also look at next year's chart. Okay? If you look at 2009 Sthiti Pravesh, because if at all divorce comes, it will be in the next year, right? So let's see. Let's see how is the next year. Is there a chance of marriage, divorce? Okay. How is? See, we are not on a border. That's what I checked. And in the Navamsa chart, we have 11 minutes backward and 6 minutes forward leeway. So we are pretty much comfortable that this Navamsa is accurate. Okay. Who is the Hora Lord? The ruler of the year. Sun. He is the sixth lord. Sorry. The ruler of the year is the sixth lord. And in the Rashi chart, he is the 12th lord of laws, afflicting Venus, causing combustion of Venus in the 7th house of marriage. So, Sun is in the 7th house. In the Navamsa, the same Sun is the 6th lord. He is in a Chatusthana, he is in an inimical side. So, of course, Lagna lord is also in the 6th house of divorce. 6th house is separation from wife. So, that's not good. And how is the 7th lord? The 7th lord literally is not bad. But from the 7th house, he is in the 8th house of Mrityu. And he is with Rahu. He is with the 6th lord Rahu. The Lagna lord is with the 6th lord in the 8th house. That shows big disease. Right? Lagna lord with the 6th lord in the 8th house shows a long disease or big disease or a fatal disease. 8th house is Mrityu. So, it's showing death of marriage, unfortunately. And if you take the 7th house itself, who are in the 7th house? Moon is very good. 6th lord Moon in the 7th house is a savior. But Venus is there. And who is Venus? He is Maraka. He is the 3rd and 8th lord from Lagna. Maraka is in the 7th house. So, there are multiple negative combinations. Lagna lord, can he rescue? No, he is also in a Dusthana. He is in 6th house. He can't rescue. So, unfortunately, the next year chart is not really showing great promise, unfortunately. So, just look at the dasha. Shukra dasha not great, Rahu dasha terrible, because he is the one who is afflicting the 7th lord. Venus. So, until Sun is the ruler of the year, but again he is 6th lord. So, until Moon dasha, if at all any chance of any patch up, it is October, November. Until then there is no chance. So, that is a lot of time. So, my feeling is the chance is very low. The chance that this can be...
Same thing will show in her chart.
Same thing should show in her chart, yes. Do you want to see her chart? We don't know if this is first marriage or second marriage for her. Is first marriage for her? Okay.
I mean,
Right.
law is also, it's not a, he was living with not an Indian girl.
Okay. Yeah, doesn't matter whether it's Indian girl or American girl. Bottom line is, what kind of relationship it is it in his mind. That is what decides. But Our conclusion is that this is the first marriage. What happened before was just a A7, not QL. It was just a relationship. Okay. Now let us see the girl's natal chart. Any dasha applies, special dasha, nothing. Just the Vimshottri dasha. So if you look at the Vimshottri dasha of the girl, what is the dasha running? Jupiter dasha is running. Right? So it is Jupiter Ketu right now. Marriage is given by Jupiter Ketu. Does it make sense? If this is first marriage, marriage given by Jupiter Ketu, does it make sense? No. Does it? Jupiter is the 2nd and 11th lord in the 4th house. Not really a candidate for marriage. Right? Ketu, he is the 10th lord in the 5th house. 5th house, well, there is some chance, but still, it's not really a strong case. On the other hand, suppose we change the time. Let's say 3:40:30 instead of 3:37. Now, when did the marriage happen? Jupiter Ketu. Marriage happened in Jupiter Ketu. Jupiter is the Lagna Lord, Ketu is 9th Lord. Lagna Lord Dasha, 9th Lord Antardasha. Moreover, from Jupiter, Ketu is 7th Lord. So, there is a good chance of marriage. But, the Antardasha that is about to start in a few days is that of Venus. Jupiter, Venus. Lagna Lord and 8th Lord who are together in the 3rd house. Lagna Lord and 8th Lord together. So, 8th Lord Antardasha is coming. So, there is a chance of break of marriage. Just based on the Vimshottri Dasha. If you take this Lagna, let's go to Navamsha Narayana Dasha. Marriage came at the end of Cancer Dasha. Now Cancer aspects Upada and it's the 5th house from Lagna. So Cancer Dasha can give marriage. Now the Dasha that is starting now is that of Leo. Actually not starting, already started. A few days back, the Leo Dasha started. Leo is the 6th house of separation. So there is a chance of separation based on Navamsha Narayana Dasha also. Let's finally look at the Tithi Pravesh. First let us look at last year. If you look at the last year Tithi Pravesh chart, Hora Lord is Mercury. Okay. When did she get married? Jupiter Dasha she got married. Okay. So, with our rectification of the Navamsha, Jupiter Dasha, I am not really sure why Jupiter would give marriage. He is not really a great candidate for giving marriage in this chart. Right? Do you agree with me? Do you agree? I mean, in the Rashi, Jupiter is well placed, he is aspecting Upada, he is 5th Lord in the 5th, he can give some good events, but it doesn't make that much sense. It doesn't make that much sense. But forgetting Dasha, looking at Navamsha itself, is there a chance of marriage this year? Is there a chance of marriage this year? Remember that the ruler of the year is, who is the ruler of the year? Mercury. Okay, Mercury is the ruler of the year. Is there a chance of marriage? Pardon me? Yes, Mercury is Upada Lord in Rashi chart. Upada Lord in Rashi chart. In Navamsha, he is the 9th Lord of Dharma, in the 7th house of marriage, and 7th Lord is in Lagna, aspecting the 9th Lord. So, Mercury Mars, there is a Raj Yoga. So, looking at all these things, it is possible. It is possible that Mercury, this year will give marriage. But why it happened in Jupiter Dasha, I have no clue. Makes no sense to me. Okay? So I don't want to justify it somehow or the other. It makes no sense. If you look at Vimshottri Dasha, for example, it happened in Saturn Dasha, who is a Yokaraka in the Navamsha chart, in the 11th house. In Rashi, he is the 7th Lord in Lagna. The thing is, maybe Tithi Ashtotri in this case, chart is not working. Maybe there is something else. Let us leave it. Actually, you can experiment and see if there is something you can do to make it work. But for some reason, the Tithi Ashtotri doesn't seem to be giving good result in this chart, which rarely happens. But I do see some charts in some particular years when I am not happy with the Tithi Ashtotri. Something is amiss. Just like Vimshottri works in most charts, but there are cases where we are not happy with Vimshottri. Things don't show up that well. So there is something we still don't understand, even in Tithi Ashtotri Dasha. But the bottom line is, This year there is a very good chance of marriage. But is there also a chance of problem in the marriage? In the same chart, in the same year. Is there also a chance of problem? See, in the Navamsha, if you take the 7th house of marriage as Lagna, right? Moon is in Manakarthasthana. Moon, Rahu, Ketu axis exists on the 2nd and 8th axis from the house of marriage. So that is a problem. Moreover, Lagna is occupied by 6th Lord, who is also the ruler of the year. From 7th house, the 6th Lord is in 7th house. So there is a chance of quarrels relating to marriage, some trouble relating to marriage. Right? So there are some problems. But let us see the next year chart. Let us see if it is as bad. Because in the boys chart, compared to 2008, when you saw the 2009 Navamsha, there was hardly any chance of reconciliation during the year. It was basically given up case. Let us see how is the girls' case chart. Before we make any conclusions, let us see the leeway we have, which is pretty much, pretty high. Okay. How is this year? Are there any indications? Who's the ruler of the year? Venus. Ruler of the year is Venus. In the Navamsha, he is the 7th Lord, in the 7th house. He is good. But in the Rashi, he is the 6th Lord. Venus is 6th Lord, so it's not that good. Now, but still, being in the 7th house in Navamsha, Venus shows some promise. Apart from it, if you look at, and Sun is also another promising planet. He is the 5th Lord in the 5th house. He can rescue the marriage. But the Lagna Lord Mars, see, Lagna is in Gandamta. That is one thing. The Lagna is in Gandamta. Now, Lagna Lord Mars in the Navamsha, he is afflicted by Rahu, Badhaka Lord. Lagna Lord is afflicted by Badhaka Lord Rahu, and the other Badhaka Lord Saturn is affecting him. So, this is the main problem. Mars is badly afflicted by, and Ketu, 8th Lord Ketu. The 8th Lord Ketu, Badhaka Lord Saturn and Rahu, all of them are hammering Mars. So, that is one problem. Another problem is the Dharma Lord Jupiter, even though he is in 11th house, it's also Badhakasthana, he is with the 6th Lord of litigation. Right? So, that is the other problem. So, looking at these things, compared to the boys' case, there is more hope in this case. But overall, this is also not that favorable. And when are the good dashas coming? Dashas when there is a chance of catch-up. Venus, Sun and Moon, these are the good dashas. But Venus, quite honestly, he is in the Rashi chart, he is the 6th Lord. And he is in the 2nd house from Upada. So he is also not that good. But Sun, if you look, Sun is the 5th Lord in the 5th house. He is the 9th Lord of Dharma in the Rashi chart in Lagna. And in the Navamsha, he is the 5th Lord of Purapunya in the 5th house itself. So Sun is a savior. So that is coming in the September time frame. And of course, Moon, he is the 4th Lord in the 4th house. He is well placed. So the 7th house of marriage, he is a Kendra Lord in a Kendra. So the karma, the accomplishment of the marriage, the 10th house from the 7th house is strong. So Moon can say. So there is some chance in October. But until then, his case also somewhere around that October, November we said. So until then, and of course Mars. Mars is Lagna Lord. Of course he is 8th Lord too. But all sudden then he is the Lagna Lord. He can try to rescue the marriage. So October, November there is some chance. But Rahu, for example, is a terrible period. Jupiter is also not good. Even though he is Dharma Lord, he is in Badhakasthana, he is with 6th Lord. He will give 6th Lord results. He can give a separation. But it is Rahu who is really problematic. Badhaka Lord eclipsing, causing Kuja Stambhana of the Lagna Lord. Badhaka Lord causing Stambhana of the Lagna Lord. So he is a real problem planet. So Rahu Dasha in the June time frame is very bad. How is his? Let's save this and let's go to his. What is he running in the June time period? He is running Rahu. So again, like we said earlier, Rahu is from Lagna he is the 12th Lord, reflecting the 7th Lord, right? So showing giving up of the marriage. From the 7th house of marriage, he is the 6th Lord of quarrel, litigation, etc. affecting Lagna Lord in the 8th house of end. So Rahu Dasha, so both of them around the same time are facing the Rahu Dasha, that is problematic Dasha. So the June-July time period is very critical. So overall, the chance of making this marriage survive is very low. But if at all there is an interest in making it survive, or at least putting in the best effort, what we can suggest is Upada is in Makara, owned by Shani. So worship Shani, fast on Saturday. And at the end of the fast, worship, who is the second lord? Saturn and Rahu. They are the second, Saturn and Rahu are the seventh lord. So Durga. So fast on Saturday, and at the end of the fast, read like Durga Saptashloki or something for Durga, Durga Stotram, or some prayer of Durga, and then eat. So that can help. Yeah, that can help. But the probability is very small. The probability of marriage, probability of the marriage being saved is very. If you prolong the problem till October, November, maybe there is some chance of reconciliation then in the October, November time. But overall, I am not very optimistic.
Yeah, I know he doesn't have the praying
ability. Okay. Good for him. Yeah.
His mother is religious.
Okay. Even if he is, it's a very difficult case here. So the amount of effort needed will be tremendous. He is very unlikely for anybody, even for somebody very religious.
Actually very determined to participate.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. From the boy's thought also, it seems like there is very little chance of making it work. So my feeling is this is most likely going to break. So if you want, do something about it, but prepare yourself for it. That is what I would say, unfortunately. Okay. Anything else you guys want to add? He's very dynamic.
One of the people from New York suggested to her that she should do the Kali mantra recitation.
She?
Yeah, I don't know, that's what he told
Okay.
me.
Okay.
And,
Oh, the mother you mean? Not the girl?
no, the mother.
Mother, yeah.
Boy's mother.
Okay.
The girl, I don't have any contact with.
Sure, I understand. I was wondering because she is insisting. No, I want the end of this. You are saying somebody told her to pray, so I was wondering.
Mother went to
Yeah.
see somebody.
Yeah.
New
Mm-hmm.
York. One of the temple people, somebody told her to
Okay.
do Kali Puja. And also, Rahu came to
Yeah.
generally,
Depends on which form of Kali. See, in general, the generic form of Kali is for detachment. But the thing is, there are forms of any goddess where she is mother and she is basically taking care of the children. So you can pray to Kali. But the thing is, Saturn is there, Mars is there, so that is also possible. But I will rather suggest Durga, because Rahu is really dominant. Okay, but like I said, it's not really worth it. In a sense, it may not work. So you will end up praying. It may help in other areas, but the goal with which you are doing, if it doesn't happen, you lose faith.
yeah,
If you are not a very faithful person, and if somebody is telling you to do some prayer, it should be for a cause which has a good chance of succeeding, so that you become faithful. So I won't really suggest anything. I will probably say very difficult to make it work. Good luck. Okay, so with that we will end for today. Oh.